Everybody, good morning. Channel member Amy, channel member Dickie, channel member Rob, channel member Sergio, channel member Darren. Welcome to the show. Looks like we got a lighter crowd starting. I did start about 30 seconds early and getting alerts like crazy. China. Wow, what the heck? If anybody didn't see the news last night, because it wasn't on like mainstream media news that I saw. China cutting rates and approving borrowing to buy stocks. That's the government approving buying stocks. That's just crazy to me. That's like the ultimate stimulus. I mean, so let me just kind of read this. Like, the People's Bank of China is going to reduce the 7-day reverse repo rate by 0.2%, basically. The People's Bank of China are going to cut reserve requirements by 0.5%. It's going to free up about 1 trillion won, which is about 142 billion in liquidity. China may also cut the RRR further, reverse repo rate, by another 0.25 to 0.5% at the appropriate time. People's Bank of China are going to cut the 1-year MLF rate by 0.3%, 30 basis points they call it. The PBOC was also going to lower the rates for existing mortgages, and cut down the payment ratio on second homes to 15% from 25%. I mean, that's just craziness. The deposit rate will be lowered to neutralize the impact on banking margins. When you think about this a minute, they're going to take existing mortgages that are written and reduce the rates. Cut the rates so the payments will be lower. I mean, talk about some easing here. This seems like they're panicking. This seems pretty freaking crazy. I mean, that's pretty bold. And they're encouraging borrowing of funds on the reverse repo to increase liquidity. They're going to set up a swap facility, allowing securities firms and funds and insurance companies to tap liquidity from the PBOC to buy stocks, specifically. I mean, that's like in the statement. Just crazy. I could share that, but it was, I was just reading a few highlighted statements I had in that whole giant thing. Wow. I mean, that is, and the list is loaded this morning with China stuff just exploding higher. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation is intended to be informational, educational, fun, and entertaining. It is not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instrument. So no stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. Don't long them, don't short them, don't trade them. Think about it. Buyer, seller, winner, loser, 50-50 odds if you don't have any kind of edge. So be careful out there. If you desire personal financial advice, you need somebody to tell you what to do, just tell me what to trade. I can't do that. That's not what I do. All right. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to try to help you get an edge. I tend to get lucky a little bit. My luck may run out. I may never get another thing right again. Past performance, not necessarily indicative of future results. Looking at the calendar for the week, this thing is kind of boring. Honestly. I mean, yesterday we got the flash manufacturing, nothing burger. Today, we get some consumer confidence. 10 o'clock, maybe we get some price action, maybe not. Tomorrow, at 9, we get some new home sales, crude oil inventories. Are we going to make it like the 11th or 12th week in a row where we drop inventories? Maybe. Thursday, we get final GDP numbers. Might move the market, might not, probably not. Get core durable goods, GDP, not really much there either. We got a whole bunch of Fed speakers on Thursday. And Friday, we get core PCE. Maybe. It really hadn't moved the market lately. Not really. I don't really expect it to come in hot. I don't really expect it to come in light. I think they're going to keep it, try to keep it in line, keep it on the rails. Since the election is only, month and a week away, or month and 2 weeks away, something like that. So I think that try to keep it all on the rails here. Now the crazy thing, the wild card here with China doing that. What if all of a sudden commodities explode? Think about it. What if all of a sudden commodities prices explode higher? That's like instant inflation causing things right there. Especially oil taking off. What if oil's been beaten down because China demand's like in the basement? What if all of a sudden traders like, ha, if China's going to buy stocks, guess what? Everything's going to goose. And it's kind of a crazy wild ride here. Crazy wild ride. Anyway, China's watching out for number one. They don't care about us. They're watching out for them. S&P, 3 days sitting here right under that target. Now, as I was saying yesterday, if this is a 1-2 type of setup, we could very well see a 3 pop way up here. What the devil are you talking about, JT? If this was the 0 point, this was wave 1, this was wave 2, kind of shallow for a wave 2, but wave 3 could be somewhere in this vicinity, 1272 up to the 1618. Could get a 4 and a 5 blow off top. That would be the size of wave 1, roughly, and it could be much, much bigger. So that would take us all the way up here, potentially in this vicinity. Just spitballing here. The wave forward retrace could be deeper, could be shallower, could be much shallower. So we could be looking at insane numbers here. Insane numbers. Just throwing that out there. Now the wave 4 will probably last us. This 3 could top at the election. 4 could last us through the new year. Kind of pull back in December. And then 5 could launch off in January. And then we end up in a problem sometime next year. Entirely possible. Like that could be the path forward right now in the market. All right. I don't want to always seem like predicting the crash that never comes. Like this might be the path that we're going on. Like we could be rocking and rolling up to some epic levels. If we get up here, it's going to be kind of scary. Going to be kind of scary. All right. Everybody okay with that? Everybody got it? Dun, 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 dun. So that's the potential upside. Potential downside, of course, is all the way back down here and maybe as far down as 1500 on S&P. And it's like, what? JT, we're at 5700. Yeah, we are at 5700 and we could very well do a Greater Depression style retrace all the way down to 1500 because it's on the charts. Like it makes sense. Like a monthly, look at this, all the way down in this vicinity here. We could see it hitting the monthly chart, 3000. And we could retest that breakout down here, 1500. Wouldn't that be wild? That's the bubble pattern, right? Everybody see it? Everybody see how that would be the bubble pattern? That's the scary thing. That's why I'm watching this. Like, we might do this. We'd have a little period. So it's not going to go it's not going to go wicked fast. We're going to, do this initial thing. We'll probably do a consolidation over here, and then we'll do that. All right. And this will take years to do this on a monthly chart. Right? There'll be periods of up, periods of down. People are, we're not just going to flush it from here down to there and be all done. This is going to take, if we do that, blow off, we're going to get an initial retrace, a little bit of chop. Could take us out here. And then we'll start down like that. And there'll be some pullbacks and humps and bumps along the way. All right. Dun, dun, dun. What about sell rate cuts and buy rate increases? What happened to that? That's a slow moving situation here. Rate cuts are not bullish. ultimately, this is, we're just cooking. Like, does the problem happen now? Does it happen here? Does it happen? Like, we're baking a problem, and the problem is going to come together. And I don't think that this rate cut is going to be the rate cut. I think, honestly, you've been following me very much. I think we're gonna have rate increases before we have the problem. What if those commodities go up? Inflation comes back. I've had this on the chart for almost 2 years. Right there. So if you're new, and you've been listening to marketing hype, here's the real story. Here's the real story. All right. Gotta be careful. Gotta know, like, this is not what anybody's talking about right here. Like, what is the thing that's gonna mess up everybody? This. Inflation comes back. We gotta try to get it under control. We go higher, create a frozen, basically freeze up the economy, and then we go down. All right. Just the dollar's on the way down. Like the dollar's gonna get obliterated. Anyway, so anybody feeling like that's both paths? Like, that's the path higher. I don't really see much case for going over that 6,600 area right now. In fact, 6,000 would be. I'm going to be really shocked if we go above 6,000 at this point. We may only do just a move up to here, right in this 5,900 area, and then roll. And this is the optimistic. This is like that was the best case scenario. Really? I just kind of expect us to come up to this target right here at 5,750, 5,800, and then we roll. That's kind of what I expect. I expect us to top out. That's why we've got this big oval sitting here that's been sitting here for 2 months, 3 months. I don't know. I think we're close to the top here, but there's the possibility that we go crazy higher. Either one, when you look at the monthly chart, we're already in the bubble pattern. It's just like, does the bubble end here? Does the bubble end here? You know, it's very similar to SMCI, like on the way up. If you didn't know that, like, look at that. If you didn't know this, check this out. When we did this one right here, I thought that may have been the top. We came up, lower high. For those of you who were around, I thought we were topping out here, but no. We went on up to 1,200. And then we started down. Had a nice long consolidation. Broke down. And it's likely to come all the way back down. This is the same pattern. It plays out over and over and over. So SMCI, very highly likely we're going to come down in this zone right there around 300. So, I mean, yeah. So that's the things to watch out for on the S&P. Any questions? Let me know in the chat. I think we're going to push these up. We're going to try and max these babies out right here. S5TW. We did the dip almost down to 20. Well, we got in the 20s. Now it's time to break back out, make another high. This is stocks above their 20-day moving average. S5FI, stocks above their 50-day. We've been pushing out higher highs. And we may see this ramp up into the high 80s, maybe even 90 area. If we do, that's going to be these, you know, like, if you got a red warning light, keep an eye on that one. Like, I'd set an alert up there, 85, maybe 90, maybe both. If you're like, how do I trade this? You don't. This is an index. It's S&P 500 stocks above their 50-day moving average. Trading View only updates it at the end of the day. That's what the little purple E means. If you want to see a live chart for this, let's see. Barchart.com, I think, has a live chart on S5FI. And S5TH, just chugging. I think we may need to stretch this up to the top too, right here on S5TH. Yes, we may break out. We may not. It had a nice correction set up here. We may not follow through. May not. I appreciate all the alerts. Thank you, all my systems. And I just did that backwards. That high, this low. So what we've done, we've got this high right here. Got that low down here. Got that retrace. It's in place. Came up. Hit the 618. Came up 76. Retrace. Came up 76 again. Retrace. Higher lows. Came up just shy of breakouts overnight on the China news. Retrace back to the roadmap line. If we break out over these highs, we're cruising. And there's the resistance zone right up here. These two targets. 5800, 5815. That's the targets on the upside. That can bounce and retrace again. All right. Maybe like, why are you using the ES and not the S&P 500? Specifically, well, look, this has gaps and stops trading at the end of the day and starts trading like it doesn't. It's not a 24-hour chart. It's a cash index. It stops trading at the end of the trading day and starts trading when the market opens. So it's only open during regular trading hours. For the rest of the picture, I use the futures to see what's been going on overnight. Try and give me a little more picture. So we basically have this level up here. If we get above it, we're probably going to break on out to make new highs. And all the way down here around 5750-ish, 5740-ish, 45-ish. If we break down below that, we're probably going to move on down lower. And you're like, well, that seems obvious when you say it. Yeah, well, it's not always obvious to everybody. And this area down here, 5700, may be where we're heading on a three-wave retrace, but it could develop into something a little deeper, all the way down to the bottom of this box. So those are the things to watch out for. If we break down, we may find support here, here, and it could be down here. Now, if we make a higher high first, all bets are off. Changes the game on the downside. This is if we go down from where we are right now without making a higher high. All right. That's the levels. In Q, same situation. These are kind of in alignment here. Lower highs. So far. So far. That breakout, though, we're going to have to rally all the way up here. Here's the difference. On the daily chart, we have not been making new highs. We've been down here at the 76 level. This thing could be a giant catch-up. Like, we could get a giant, big tech up candle. Takes up to that target. What that does to the S&P, maybe puts us out to extensions. Russell here. So far, lower high. Not pushing, I don't know. There's three waves up off that low right there. And we stalled out right in that ideal spot. Pulling back. If we don't break out and go higher, if this breaks back down below this, it's probably that's the first warning sign. Break down below the roadmap line. Next warning sign that this could be on a path down to 1300. As low as 1300. 1, 2, like I was talking about the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on ES or S&P. 1, 2, 3, all the way down here. 4 and 5 can take us down to that 1300 area right down there. Watch out. CL, look at that reversal. Just think. If China, if people are convinced, it doesn't even have to actually happen. Like, it doesn't actually have to, like, China demand doesn't actually have to grow. Just people think China demand's growing. This can shoot the price of oil up. We go $20 pretty easy. Look where my target is. It's been sitting there. Boom. That'd be pretty wild. It'd be a wild ride. I am long oil out to 2026 via UCO. GC keeps grinding higher. This doesn't look like, I think global de-dollarization is happening. Whether we want to admit it or not, that's what's happening. Seeing gold, keep rocking and rolling, pushing up. That 2680 target, not far away. Not far away. SI1 exclamation points. Come on, silver. Silver needs to catch up. Silver has been lagging. I'm just waiting for this baby to just rip. Love to see it. Bitcoin has spent 5 days just barely drifting higher. Really having a rough time breaking through that resistance right there. We spent basically 3 days there back here in August. Now we're just having a really hard time trying to push up into that zone right there. Really hard time. If we can break through it, got that downtrend of highs, resistance above that, and then it's probably going higher. Probably going higher in a big way. Yeah, I know FCX is on the list. So I make a list and I go grab all the pre-market movers moving $2 up or down, and like I said, China stuff loading up the list today. So we'll get there in just a second. Dollar's not showing any signs of life. May go lower. Could be substantially lower. Could be done. Been expecting the mid-90s for almost 2 years. And low 90s after that. It's probably going to take a while, too. It's probably going to could take out to middle of next year to get down here and then break on down. NKD, despite China being the big hype today, NKD, lower high, something to keep an eye on. Caution, that was a 3-wave up. Right there is the trend down. I don't know. I misclicked. We turn down right at what would be bearish. Ugh. Don't like it. I'm going to actually put an alert right here at 37. If we start getting below that, we may lease it on down. That can suck our market down, even with China being crazy. So, VBFC, look at that pop. Whew. Craziness. That wasn't a trade for me. Maybe that was on your radar, but that's just wild right there. And it's already played out to the extension. Maybe as high as 81, but that's it. Did it even close above the? It did close above the roadmap line, right? I mean, the 618 closed above the 618. So it did indicate, but the entry would have been today, and it's already at the target. Boom. LBRDA. That's a mouthful. Liberty Broadband Corporation. That's got significant resistance right up here. I don't think I'd mess with that right now. Liberty Broadband. Oh, these are A's and K's. I don't know what. I don't remember I can't remember the 5th letter. What A and K stand for. It's like. It's not the company. It's the like warrants and whatever else. can't remember what that. Trying to think, but I can't remember. All the fifth letters, like when you see a ticker that has 5 letters, then it's like A, K, Y. Trying to remember another one that I could pull up, but I can't remember. So when they have the fifth ticker, that the letter means something, as far as what the. I don't remember. Anyway, cat, nice pop right up into the targets. China's good. Gonna buy more machines. This can extend out to 426, 400, 426 upside targets. It's playing out exactly like it should, right there. Getting near the target. 392. I would consider booking a profit. And Kimberly, I saw you in the chat. My favorite subscriber. FUTU. Nice reversal there. Also, that high, that low. That's an entry. If we get it to close above the 618 today, 86, 90, 100 above that. PDD. Was that the bottom? Got to get above the roadmap line. To go higher. That higher target all the way up here, 175. Yeah, that's a pretty hefty one. Potential, what, 60% gain on shares. If it plays out, it's got to get through the roadmap line, through the 618, through the gap down. It's got a large resistance sitting there. Got to get through all that stuff, but fairly low risk to reward right now. If you wait to buy up here, more conservative entry, but higher risk to reward. More likely to go to the targets, but not a bad potential right there, though. Could be the bottom. When did I write that on there? All the way back on a month ago, right there. CRM. Potentially trying to break out. Still think that looks like it wants to go deeper. If we can get above that high right there, that 618 level, possibly go up to 334. If we turn down at this resistance, I mean, look at that. That gap down was there. That high, that high, that high, that high. If we break down, this is going on down on CRM. Baba, look at her go. Look at her go. This has the potential for a large upside. Rallying back up to 180, 200. This zone right up here. Had that on the chart for a long time. Did I know the Bank of China was going to start buying stocks? No, I didn't know. Air is going to be the wrong ticker. That was popping. Now it's dropping. NTES. Potentially bouncing here. So here's your warning. This could be a measured bounce. If it is, we get above the roadmap line, the target could be all the way up here, 150, 160. All the way up there. Almost a double on shares. Nice potential. Spot. Going for it. Had no pullback. Hasn't had a pullback since all the way back here in October a year ago. Right up to all-time highs. We may get a negative reaction here. This could pull back. Now, see the IPO price right here. Corrective, corrective, corrective. Right into a lower low. I talk about this all the time right here. See that? That may have been the low for Spotify, and now we're on a bullish extension. And the correction here can take us up to 434, 474, possibly even 584 on the breakout. SCCO, Southern Copper. Look at that one. Rocking and rolling. That high, that low. Weird splits. 134, Potential upside. Got to get above this. So here's the resistance right here. Where you go all in on copper. Got to get above that resistance. GBNY. See, Rob, you're asking a fundamental question, and that's not the way I trade, so I can't comment as to, I mean, demand for copper. So think about it this way, too. It's not, so the perception is that there's huge demand during Christmas buying, but when did all those products get made? In March, April, May, June, because they had to get put on boats in August, September. They had to come over to the United States, September, October, get unloaded, get put in trucks, shipped out to warehouses, out to the stores, so it can be on the shelf by late November. So it can be bought in November, December, and Christmas. So people don't think about that, but the stuff that we're going to buy this year at Christmas time started being made in March, April, May, June, July. Like it kind of blows people's mind a little bit when you think about it. But they're making Christmas stuff like in April, May, June, not in November, December. A lot of people don't think about how the supply chain works there. So. Wow. That is a crazy looking chart right there. I don't like charts that are real gappy and crazy like that. That's right up into the target. Could extend it to 17. I don't know. I would chase that. Didn't look like anything I would ever go after. Tesla, though? Come on, baby. I guess China being, China is a big market for Tesla. China turning around here. We break through this resistance. That's the last line. We could be heading on up. 284, 295, possibly this 300 area that I've been talking about for a while. 350 would be the ideal spot before we do another retrace. If we get up there and we hold, I don't want to see it come back below this 271 area. And we have earnings coming up next month, right here on the 16th. Just after they do the robo-taxi event on the 10th. I think they got some good stuff planned. They're trying to goose up their earnings reaction. This one may launch off. I am long TSM. And it does have that gap down to contend with right there. Taiwan Semi. Yen. The yin and the yang. If you've never seen this before, yang is 3x bears, plummeting, and yin, kind of like the yin and the yang, you get it, and they're popping. 3x bull on China. This closes the day up here, probably going for 36, 37, maybe 43. This has been beat down as China's been beat down, so this could be a bottom and reversing the fortunes here. This was a reverse split, so it meets the dumpster fire criteria. Be careful. This is leveraged. 3x bulls on China. BIIB. This was on the poppers list. Now it's looking like we're going to get flushed down the toilet. That is a biotech pharma. KSPI. Potentially, this has been on the list a few times this week. Potentially this is a bottom, but it's not proven it yet. The roadmap line is only like 3 candles long, so not a lot I can tell here. Baidu. Been looking for this to reverse for a long freaking time. Gonna have to break through the roadmap line. Look at that look at all those downtrend highs. This had a great opportunity to bounce back here, and it kind of just wrecked it over here. So it's going to take a little bit for me to get bullish on this one again. I don't know. So far, it has a nice fat upside potential. And it's kept it intact, but it's not doing it yet. Not doing it yet. ALB. Amble marble. Potentially that could be the bottom. I still feel like we may see further downside to go. The roadmap line is the resistance here. Still in a giant downtrend. Is not really solidly made a bottom. Supposedly this is the partner for ExxonMobil to get into lithium, but that's not exactly a bullish chart there. Did a giant head and shoulders back here and played out in full. Played out in full. Yeah, right there, that head and shoulders, that head and shoulders. We played out right down there. Even got a little overexcited. So we could reverse it here, but it's gonna have to wait till it's above the roadmap line for me. Estee Lauder, potentially bottoming. May go for one more extension, maybe reversing. Looks pretty good right there for a reversal. Gonna have to get above the roadmap line and all this consolidation. BNTX might be another mini bubble. We do have resistance up here, but remember, this could just be the bubble pattern here. That could have been the bubble. We consolidate, just same thing, smaller scale. That could be the bubble. They don't always have to take months and months. Could do this and then break down and head right back down to the bottom. Right down in here. I wouldn't bet on it. Either way, that's low probability stuff right there. Lows. Well, there's the target. 280, 290. Go for it. CWB. That high, that low. Haven't updated this chart in a while. It's going to have a close above this 36 area to indicate we're going to 49. It's China Internet Bulls. It's looked pretty bearish for a long time. Have to admit, this has looked very bullish. I mean, very bearish for a long time. And could be reversing fortune, but it's just not proving it yet for me. Lululemon. Resistance at the roadmap line right up here. Gonna have to break through that. Otherwise, not a trade for me at the moment. Opportunities there. Could be a measured bounce on the non-log scale. If that's the case, we could be heading up to this 650, 700 area. Possibly as high as 800. But we got to get through the roadmap line. NXP Semiconductor, that's under the roadmap line. Be careful. That is bearish. NUE, still under the roadmap line. Be careful. That is bearish. Let's check. CCJ. This one might have been done on the correction there. If this breaks back above this 48 level here on CCJ, watch for a huge pop. Rio thing. That's still not a bullish chart right there. That could have been the fake out and we actually popped, but golly, that looks bad. I don't like these watermelon seed squeeze things. It can break out and go. And we saw Costco do this. I mean, look, it's been in this thing for almost 5 years. Be careful on that one. That's unreliable. That could break out. I think above 80, we might see this. We might see this. May see this go on a large run. Somewhere above 80 could take it on up. Possibly 120. Just not sure on that one. GE Vernova. 270. Next upside resistance potentially. There's not much to chart here, so it's very difficult. HES is still hunting the bottom. Did it find the bottom here? It's got to get above the roadmap line and prove it. If oil does a big reversal, this will probably go up with it. This could be showing that oil's done on the downside. Let me look at that. Was perfect. First move down, second move down, equality, an echo in the market, if you will. That move down, right off of there, right to that 100%. Beautiful. It's an echo in the market. Got to get above this and the 618 to indicate we're going on up to 180 area on Hess. WYNN. Made a little from Apollo trade on USB. Awesome. When rejecting off of the roadmap line, be careful. That is resistance and it can go lower. It has the potential for this to be a giant measured bounce. That would be take it up here to 160. Got to get through that resistance to prove we're going to do it. That would be a double from current, basically a double from current levels. Not quite, I guess. Pretty close. CRMT. Still hunting the bottom. America's Car Mart. I'm not sure. That looks bad. That looks really bad. I'm not sure that one's going to be done until it makes a lower low than we had right there. ALV. Still expect that one to go a little bit lower. Autoliv. Microchip. Or microchip. It's MCHP. MCHI is MSCI China. Been working on the reversal for a little bit yet. Get the close up here today, indicating 48 and 49. Good chip. It still looks pretty bearish. BNZI. That's a dumpster fire. Straight up dumpster fire. Nothing to even talk about here. That's a reverse split. 50 for 1. Dear gosh, man. Don't mess with these. You're going to lose money messing with that. JD. Potential reversal here. Breakout 37 on the upside. FCX. Absolute ripping. I guess it's all relative. Like, for the... Who said it was absolute rocketing? FCX is skyrocketing. That's... skyrocketing to me would be like up here. I guess it's all relative. Like what time frame are you looking at? This doesn't look like skyrocketing. I mean, 6%. I mean, it's pretty good. But not sure skyrocketing is the proper terminology here. That high, that low. We're at the resistance. We do have a little, I'm probably going to have resistance at the prior high too. If we get above that 49.50 area, we could be heading up to 57, 59, possibly 64. And on the downside down here is still possible. There's the possibility that the hype in China is short-lived. And we just do this. Depends. Does this whole thing in China actually change it? Nice pop, but you know, it's fading to 5.8%. Be careful. We got to get above that resistance. All right, don't just bandwagon. Don't just jump on it and be like, let's go. It was a great opportunity here. Think about protecting profit here. We drop back below the roadmap line, and this could be playing out down here. Definitely be careful. Definitely. And BobX. 2x on Baba. Nice pop there. I guess if you really believe that China's turning around, this might be a way to play, although it's kind of played out right now based on solely on this chart. But Baba has larger potential. I knew that was coming. At least I didn't blast you all the way with a sneeze. This will probably retrace. It is at the extensions right there. Lots to get through, but long term, this could be heading up here. Lots more alerts. Is it 10 o'clock? It is 10 o'clock. All right. BobX, BHP. That's the wrong BHP. We need the New York listed UHP. And that is a bearish chart. I would be careful. Could it break out and go? It could. Like, there's the possibility, but at this point, large resistance right up here at 66. Large resistance. SC. C limited. I guess internet retail. It's rocking and rolling. Breaking above this. We do have resistance right there. Get above it. And start changing the fortunes. But this is... That was the bubble pattern. Everybody see it? Everybody see how that played out? Whoop. Didn't even, like, the little consolidation was just like, blip. And then... That can be done if we do another one. If we do another one that goes exponential, it may be lower. That tends to be what we see. See? Big one. Littler one. Probably do another little one over here. They don't have to go all the way back to the bottom. See where the consolidation was over here? Came and touched it. And there's another one. So just be careful. Maybe, well, that wasn't a bubble. Sure looks like a bubble. That's the bubble pattern. Plays out all the time. TEK. Let's see, that high, this low. If we get the close up here today, could be heading up to 56, 58. It is cruising above. Is that all-time highs? No. Do you have this guy back here? Probably some resistance up there. That was the low, the retrace, higher low, higher low. This does look good for going higher. It just it's like 67, maybe the place it's going for now. Nothing too crazy on tech. Yum China potentially reversing off that low. Very nice potential. That was a giant echo. Took, how long did it take to play out? Took 3 years to play out. We get back up through here, we could be heading up to 75, 80, 90. Can go on a new extension higher. LI. Potential for that to play out, but it's just been chopping in this range, and we've got a couple months of roadmap line and not a lot of history here. On the weekly, on the daily, kind of played out like I thought it would. Found a bottom, potential to rally back up to the top of the range. It's only 20 points up or so. Decliners, LNW. Ooh. Watch out when they hit the extension there. This one back here did the bounce. Dip. That high, that low, topped out right there at the 1272 and retrace. Could this be a bottom? Sure. Entirely possible. MCK. I still think that one's heading on down. ARGX. Watch out. That was resistance. Pharmaceutical, dangerous. Visa getting an investigation that they're monopolizing the debit card market. That may come down here. Race. Probably wants to retrace, but it may go for the extension up to 540 area. Carvana. That's topping out. Potential for that to retrace. We haven't touched the roadmap line in a long time. Back here since November, almost a year. And the bonus trade for the day is Comcast. Comcastic. That's Comcastic. All right, there's the high, there's the low. Yesterday was the entry. Today, well, yesterday's the trigger. Today's the entry. It wasn't these red candles. They didn't close above the 618. 4205. I can bring up the statistics for you. Just a second. Copy. And we'll paste her in here. Remember, you don't have to take these trades, and they may not work out. So, target 42.14. Stop below 37.14. It has an upside of $1.41. Not giant. 88.24% of the time, this pattern has shown up on the chart. This has worked out. This is a high probability trade. Profit factor 2.5. 44 days on average, over 34 trades since 1972. This is a statistically significant pattern right here for Comcast. So, look at that. I don't have these perfectly on there, but the numbers were 42.14 is the target. So pretty close right there. So 42.14. I'll set my target right there. There we go. And there we go. Bias for the day. For those of you still with me. Remember, 5 p.m. today, we have 30 minutes of awesome coming up. I forgot to mention that earlier. And now that there's only 100 people left, hopefully somebody shows up. 30 minutes of awesome. The only request show I do during the week, I will do 5 p.m. Eastern, at least 30 minutes of requests, your chart requests. And I'll go through whatever it is, and we'll talk about it and look at it and see if there's anything there. Hopefully people show up, because if nobody shows up, it's not really much fun. This, I'm afraid we may get a retrace. This kind of played out a little bit here on S&P. That retrace zone I want to see hold right here around this 5600 area, right in here. I want to see this retrace down to here and hold. The ES is kind of talking to you about this right here. That on the micro time frame, that's kind of what you have to watch right here. We didn't break out. We kind of indicating we may break down. That level all the way down here is the real warning. We can just mess around in here and just keep messing around in here and not really prove anything. We can just consolidate, just chop, 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 chop. If we break down below this area back here, it's 57.45. We're probably going lower than what we had right here at 57.30, and it may accelerate on down. Could come all the way down here. Should take the SPX chart down here. All right. Hope you come see me at 5 p.m. Remember, if anything I said was helpful, beneficial, give me a like, give me a thanks, give me a whatever. Be a channel member, and I'll see you this evening.